Hello, everyone, and welcome to Leadership Satsang. My name is Yukti Kapoor Mehendirata, and I am delighted and honored to be your leadership coach. Today is a very special satsang because we are also celebrating National Leadership Day, which was on 20th of Feb. And I think the best way to celebrate National Leadership Day is to work on ourselves to become better leaders. Because when we work upon ourselves as leaders, we automatically become better humans. We automatically enjoy better relationships. Once again, the reason why we call our sessions as Leadership Satsang is because it is in the company of good people like you all. That is what Satsang means, to be in good company. And here, what makes us good and this company good is the fact that we are always trying to find ways to be good and to become better and better every passing day through leadership. So hence, it's a leadership satsang. So welcome everyone to Leadership Satsang. Thank you so much for joining me live, and thanks to those who could not and are probably watching this recording a little later. Today, I want to bring to your attention what makes leaders so inspiring. I think sometime back somebody asked me, who inspires you, who is the most inspiring leader as per you? And coincidentally, just a day or two after that, Midday featured me as one of the top 10 most inspiring leaders of the nation. And I can't express my gratitude towards this kind of an honor. And I realized that when we are open to being inspired, we become inspirational for others. Think about it. It's only when you are open and willing to be inspired yourself that you can become an inspiration for someone else. So, just to share with you a very quick snippet of what that this list of top 10 looks like, and I'm of course sharing the stage with a few very hard-working professionals like Karan and Anup Singh and Rajesh, etc. So when I was looking at this top 10 most inspiring business leaders, and as much as I'm grateful to be a part of this list, I realized that each one of us have been able to go through the steep learning curve of being an entrepreneur and being a leader by looking up to many other people around who have inspired us, who have shown us the way by being who they are. So today I want to share with you who, as per me, is an inspiring leader. But before that, let me hear from you all. How are you doing? And most importantly, on a scale of 10, as we always do, on a scale of 10, how would you rate yourself as an inspiring leader? Not just a leader, but an inspiring leader. Do you think you're an inspiring leader? Let's have that number, guys. Hiren, so good to have you back. I'm getting used to having you around, so make sure that you join in every single time, and I know that you always do. So thanks so much. Would love to know, how do you rate yourself on a scale of 10, 10 being the highest, as an inspirational leader? We've got to be humble, but also honest, right? So if you think that you're a 7 or a 6 or a 3 or whatever that number is, this is your own assessment of how inspiring do you think you are. And you might want to revisit this number by the end of our session today, because I'm going to share with you some of the traits that an inspiring leader has. And I would invite you to check if you can connect or relate or resonate with those traits. Do you think you possess those traits? And that will help you to revisit this number if required. So Abhinandan is at 7, we have Shweta at 6, Bharat at 3. Super, super. We've got our own number. So whenever you're going through this session, I want you to first assess yourself on a scale of 10 and then go ahead with what I'm here to share. Premraj, so good to have you here. Thank you for joining in. You're giving yourself a 6. And as much as I know some of you here, I know for a fact that many others around you would give you a much higher number. But it is when we put ourselves on a lower number that we create the opportunity to grow from there to the next 7, next 6, next 4, whatever is that space between where we are and where we would like to be, which looks like our 10. So irrespective of whatever number you're giving to yourself, I would like you to consider that as your new 1. You know what I mean? So if you're a 6 on 10, This 6 now becomes 1, so that you know what more can you do and what can you learn to go 9 times ahead and 9 times better as a leader. All right, enthusiastic leadership, which is infectious, is what inspirational leadership means to you, is what I'm understanding. Hi, Anurag, nice to see you and happy to attend your session. Thanks so much. Nice to see you here, Anurag. Thank you for joining in. So, I just want to very quickly take you through some of the myths around leadership. Again, given that it's a National Leadership Day, it's important that we spare a moment to understand what are some of the myths that people have about leadership, and do you also have any such myth around you in your somewhere in your mind? Let us first take care of that and put that aside. So here are three very, very common myths that I often come across. The first one is people say either you're a born leader or you're not a born leader. How many of you agree to this? Just give me an agree or disagree in this comment box we have here. Do you think we're either a leader, a born leader, or we're not a born leader? Do you agree to that? Just say agree or disagree. Hi, Ishan. Good to have you here. Jason, wonderful. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are, whichever part of the world. What's important is that we connect every Tuesday evening and we keep learning. And I love that. And like I say, it's become the best day of the week for me because of these sessions. So Premraj disagrees that you're a born leader or you're not a born leader. And Abhinandan agrees. So there are some of us who would agree that, yeah, either you're a born leader or you're not. But here is the fact. There is nothing called as a born leader. See, leadership is a summation of lots and lots of skills like negotiation, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, decision making, problem solving, conflict management, stakeholder management, you name it. There are like 100 plus skills that come together under leadership skills. Now, some of us have a knack of maybe communicating well. Some of us have a knack to collaborate very easily with people. Some of us have a knack to be comfortable with facts and figures, create a reasonable argument very easily that helps us probably to make better decisions. I don't know. So these could be some of the strengths that some of us have. But then there is so much more that still needs to be learned. So nobody is a born leader. And having said that, all of us have the ability to become a leader if we learn leadership skills. So leadership skill is a skill that needs to be learned consciously. Just as how you've learned any other skill, any language you've learned, you've kind of gone through the ordeal of getting the alphabets right and then the grammar right, and then you started feeling comfortable with that and build that as your skill. Leadership is just another one of those. So you're not a born leader. If you want to be a leader, you can be a leader as long as you have a clear learning path towards becoming a leader. What's the second myth? The second myth says leadership is on the job learning. What do you guys think? Do you think leadership is on the job learning? You get into a leadership role and then life teaches you and you look at what's going around and gauge the situation, see the best way to deal with it, and you pick a thing or two about leadership. Is that right? Is it an on the job learning? Praveen, Abhinandan, Hiren, what do you guys think? Premraj, Ishan? Let us see आप लोग का क्या व्यू है, आप क्या सोचते हैं? हमें लीडरशिप सीखने के लिए एक लीडरशिप रोल में अगर डाल दिया जाए तो उन एक्सपीरियंसेस और सिचुएशंस की वजह से हम लीडरशिप सीख जाते हैं. Is that right? We learn on the job. Let's see how many of you. Yeah, Abhinandan says yes. With the ever-changing business environment, I doubt if one can stop learning and say, yes, I have become a leader. I agree, absolutely. Yes, and with that, I'll say that leadership is something that can be learned on the job. You will definitely learn because every situation is a different situation, but we cannot limit it to just on the job learning. We need to proactively learn leadership as much as there will be some reactive learning to it as well. There is no end to leadership skills or learning leadership or becoming a better version of who you are as a leader. Absolutely no end. But if we wait to get a role, where we are a leader or have to perform as a leader and then we learn on the job. Very slow process and not the best approach towards becoming a good leader. You see, we have to understand that leadership is a responsibility. When you become a leader, you take that responsibility of not just people who are reporting into you, people who are working with you. You take the responsibility of the environment in which you work. Because when someone like you comes in that environment, you make the whole environment as positive, as energetic, as vital, as humble, as enthusiastic as you are. And that is the power of leadership. And as they say, with power comes responsibility. So leadership is also a responsibility. And as much as it is on the job learning, it is also required for us to proactively learn a thing or two about leadership. The third myth is that you are a leader if you have a team. True or false? What does my live audience think about it? You're a leader if you have a team. Is that a true or a false? On the job will help but not make it a true leader. Praveen, yes, exactly. Because like I said, right, you will learn as and when you will learn, but leadership is something that you need to plan to learn. So tell me, is it true or false that you're a leader only when you have a team? Let us see what my live audience thinks. False, false. Yes, mostly false. True, true. Okay. It isn't true. It's actually false because leadership is an attitude. It is a responsibility, like I said a while back, that you take upon yourself. It does not necessarily get triggered only when you have a team aligned to you. You need leadership qualities to persuade people, and you need to persuade people who are higher in authority. You need to persuade people who work with you as peers. You need to persuade your external stakeholders as well, isn't it? So, whatever comes within the purview of leadership are the set of skills required for you to do your job in the best way you can, whether you're an entrepreneur or a corporate professional. Having a team is inviting another set of leadership skills that gets triggered because now you're supposed to share the vision that you have. Now you're supposed to learn how to delegate downward as much as you can also delegate laterally. You can also delegate upward. Another skill that you need to learn irrespective of having a team. So most of the skills around leadership are for you as an individual to understand and at one point master. It's got nothing to do with having a team. What you get when you are being aligned with a team is a leadership role, but you become a leader before you get a leadership role, or so should it be. Most of the times, that's not the case. Most of the times, we get a leadership role and then we try and figure out now, how am I supposed to be a leader? How can I be a better leader? And we make mistakes. And in the process, let me tell you, we cause a lot of collateral damage because sometimes those damages are really irreversible. What we've done to people's career, what we've done to their enthusiasm, sometimes cannot be reversed if we've not done a few things right. And that's where the responsibility part comes in. Okay, so with that said, we're clear about what leadership is and what it is not. Now let's add inspirational to leadership and see what makes leadership so inspiring. What makes a leader an inspiring and inspirational leader? Now, there was a survey done by Harvard, and they encouraged people to share what are some of the traits they see in their colleagues that they would consider as inspiring traits. And they came up with a list of 33 traits, okay, which is broadly categorized under four. And I'm going to share that with you. And as I share this with you once again, to do justice to your time and effort for being here, I would like you to quickly dive into your own self-assessment. So how does that work? As I open up these traits to you, I would like you to rate yourself on a scale of 10. How good do you think you are with these traits? So what are the four categories? The first category, up inner resources. They could do that by building stress tolerance, that they are tolerant towards stress in the environment around. They have a high self-regard, which is self-esteem and self-respect, and not like being a narcissist and considering yourself to be the best or a gift to mankind, but somebody who has a good level of self-respect is someone who holds self-regard and optimism, not toxic optimism, but optimism which is realistic. There is a difference, right? So toxic optimism is when you just refuse to see what is not okay in the environment. You are in a state of denial just because you think that positive thinking is the only way out. You need to accept what is real. And then optimism helps you to be more solution oriented and not get stuck or sucked into the problems. That's what optimism really means. So these are some of the ways in which you can develop inner resources. That's one set of traits that an inspirational leader has. And I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 10 in your own time and place. See what that looks like to you. The second category is connecting with others. You can become an inspirational leader if you develop the ability to connect with others, which could be done by building empathy, by bringing in humility along with your knowledge or your domain expertise, and by bringing in vitality, which is energy and enthusiasm to do what you do, because energy and enthusiasm is infectious. When you see a high energy person, automatically your energy goes up, right? And when you see somebody dead and like out of energy and pretty much dragging themselves to work, it acts upon you. No matter how much you like what you do, if you have one or two such people around, it just takes your energy down, saps your energy, isn't it? So it's inspiring to see somebody who's always just high on energy. And that's how they're able to do what they do so well. So one very important trait of an inspirational leader is also vitality. Then comes a third way of adding this inspiration to the way you lead is by setting the right tone through openness to listen to a different point of view, unselfishness, which goes beyond your own benefits and profits, and responsibility for other people around and their growth. If you are able to demonstrate this as a leader, then trust me, somewhere you are inspiring someone, and you might not know that, but that is happening automatically because these are the traits that we look forward to, we look up to in people if they possess them. The way you lead the team through vision, through focus, and servanthood. Servanthood is the ability to serve people through your leadership skills. So when you look at managing your team as an opportunity to serve them, help them to grow, help them to live a better life, help them to go deeper into their knowledge, is when you are leading as an inspiring leader. Or you bring in that vision, which gives them some sense of purpose for what they do, or you bring in the focus so that they're able to keep the distractions away and bring their 100% potential in what these are some of the traits that we identify an inspirational leader with. So tell me, which are some of the traits that you are able to resonate with? Out of all these that I've just shared with you, 12 of them for now, which ones do you think you are comfortable to put your hand up and say, yeah, all right, I have a lot of work to do on many others, but I think empathy is what I possess as a leader, or the sense of responsibility with which I do what I do, whatever it may be. Let's just have that in the comment box. Would love to know what is resonating with you from this list. What makes you feel that you do have some of the traits that could make you an inspiring leader as well? See 1 to 7. Okay, see category 2. That's what you mean. Category 1 is 7 on 10, Hiren, if I'm getting this right. Category 2 is 6 on 10. All right. As you said, it's environment to make it positive. Yes, absolutely. And that is the ability of an inspirational leader. Let me tell you all, as much as any of us can be a leader, it's also true that we all have the ability or potential to become inspirational leaders as well. It can be learned. And that's exactly why I'm spelling out all the traits so that you can see which ones you think you are above average with, that you could be one of your strengths, and which ones you haven't really looked at, but you know that it resonates with me as the person I am. And if I work a little bit in that direction, now that I know that this could inspire others, I think I can get a hang of that. Possible, right? Okay, so I'm going to share with you who all make up to my list of top 5. inspiring leaders and why. And I would love to know from you what your list looks like. So if we have the time today in Leadership Satsang session right away, please do share in the chat box. And if you're going to listen to this later, then put it in the comments, because I really do want to know who inspires you. Remember, if we really want to be an inspiration for somebody else, we need to be open and willing to be inspired as well. It is not the same as being influenced. When you're being influenced by someone, you are not able to connect with your own authentic self. You try to be the someone who is influencing you. You try to find yourself in somebody else. You want to become like somebody else. And that's when you lose who you are. The moment you lose who you are, you lose authenticity. And if you've lost authenticity, it's very, very difficult to make a mark, not just as a leader, as a human, as an individual. Being inspired, on the other hand, is about knowing who you are and then looking up to somebody for the qualities they have and try and bring that into you with your own personality, your own nature, your own understanding of who you are and who you want to become. To get the difference, getting it, just say getting it in the comment box if you guys are getting what I'm saying. We really, really have to understand this difference between influenced and being inspired. You see, in today's time, there are so many influencers out there. They take out a bag and they tell you this is the bag to have. If you don't, then you're not spelling out the status. If you're not wearing these clothes, you're not cool. If you're not making these kind of reels, you're not a happening person. Everything is being said to us and told to us, even when we don't realize. These are all the many influences around us. And the only way to be able to protect yourself is to come back to your authenticity, come back to who you are. When you are inspired by somebody, and authenticity is an important trait for you, you will automatically get inspired by that somebody who's also authentic. You will see that in my list when I share it with you, and you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so vision, openness, responsibility, and communication is resonating with you. Awesome. Awesome, Bharat, you're getting it. Great. So, without much ado, let me share with you my top 5 most inspiring leaders. And I will also share with you why they qualify to be a part of that list. As much as all of them are known to you, the reason why I'm picking on them and not many others who are around and worthy of being in this list is because you can relate to these people. So, believe it or not, uh, this is in no particular order. These all 5 people are amazing people, and I learn a lot from them just by observing them. I don't know any of them personally as yet, but I think they're very, very inspiring to me. And I never could have thought that a politician will make it to my list, because if I know the least about any subject, it is politics. But it is Dr. Jaishankar who's really got my interest in politics because of the way he communicates and represents our country on various world platforms. I see him to have a trait of a skillful communicator, which for me is an important trait to have as an inspirational leader. Out of the traits that I shared with you in the mind map, I think he demonstrates empathy, the openness to listen to different point of views, and vitality with which he hops from one event in Congress to an conference to another. And I think that in itself is, speaks of how much he enjoys doing what he does and the domain knowledge that he possesses. So for me, he makes it as one of the inspiring leaders. The second is Oprah, who for me is an epitome of authenticity. The way she's able to handle her vulnerability, the openness with which she's shared her life in the darkest corners of her life is not something that comes easy to anybody. And let me say this, she's not used, those stories to gain any sympathy or become a victim. There is no poor me tone to it at all. She's used it very, very carefully in situations and opportunities where she could inspire other people with her stories, and that has been the only reason why she's been so open about her entire life. You must read her book called What I Know for Sure. It'll give you goosebumps, and it'll tell you what we possess as power. When we are humans, all of us we have a lot more power within us than we realize. And you will see that in people like Oprah and many other people around in your own life as well. And that I think is very, very inspiring. The third is somebody who has to be a part of any such list that is being made by anybody on earth. I think I have immense respect for Ratan Tata, not because of the wealth that he enjoys or has created, but because of the humility with which he puts himself out there time and again to learn more. I have not seen anyone who can move from one generation to another, one room to another so effortlessly. He's as much with startups as he is with some industry tycoons, as he is with politicians, as he is with an Indian, he is with a foreigner. I mean, you just put him in a room and he'll make it his own. And I think that is what makes it very inspiring to see in a leader. So it's his approachability as a trait that I truly value and respect. The fourth is somebody who I look upon as a role model. And I think being a role model is also an important trait for an inspirational leader. Marie Folio is an American. She's a life coach. And, when I saw her for the first time years back, of course, by that I mean her videos, I felt for the first time that it's okay to be who you are. It's okay. It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to stammer a bit, not be clear. And she shows all of that when she's in front of the camera. And you can see when you see the way she does it that it's not all made up. This is just who she is, good, bad, ugly. So embracing imperfections to the extent that she does is what makes her a very inspiring leader and a role model for me. And the last is a very young 20-year-old Swedish environmental activist called Greta Thunberg. We all know her. And we all know the unselfish trait with which she does what she does, the tolerance of stress, the self-regard that she has in her own point of view. It's mind-blowing to see the power this little girl has and the kind of causes that she has devoted her life towards. Purpose is another important trait for an inspirational leader. And I just can't think of anyone better than Greta to demonstrate what a purpose-led life can look like. So for me, she makes it right there at in the list of these top 5 inspirational leaders from across the world. With that, I am keen to know what your list looks like. Who are these top 5 inspirational leaders for you? Who inspire you the most? Let's see, I have one list here: Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, okay, Mr. Tata, me. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be part of your list. And Piyush Bansal. Awesome. So I would want you to just spend a minute or two to understand what about these people inspire you. Because whatever that is telling you that you do have a trace of it already. And because you're getting pulled towards those traits, you also have the ability to improve upon the same traits. What you like in people is somewhere within you as well. So when you see it outside of you, it becomes easier for us to work inside of us and polish those skills up, master them, kind of upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves so that we're able to consider those traits that we like in other people as our own strengths as well. So with that, I'll conclude today's Leadership Satsang. Thank you so much. Wish you all a National Leadership Day once again, as much as it was yesterday. But I think leadership is something we should celebrate every single day of our life. Every time we step out of the house, we should step out with a clear thought of being a little better with our ability to lead today than we were yesterday. So thanks once again. Keep going with your list of top 5, top 10 inspiring leaders. I'll be looking out for your comments even after this session gets over. And I do hope and pray that you continue to be inspired by people around you so that you can become an inspirational leader yourself one day. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you all. I'll see you next Tuesday, same place, same time, with another interesting question that I will answer on leadership. Thank you. God bless you all. See you.